What is up, everybody? Welcome in. It's the Pacific Revision. We are back. I know the season started and we've been a little late. We've been busy. Life has been throwing shit at us, but guess what? We are back, and we are back on a consistency. I promise you. I am one of your hosts, Miguel. What's up? Hi, how are you? I am pumped to be back talking about hockey. The regular season is here. Alongside me is my co-host, Eric. Say hello, Eric.
Buenos dias, because we're gonna release this in the morning. How's it going, Miguel?
Good morning. It's going great, Eric. It's going pretty fucking great, I gotta say.
Man, who knew we were gonna have more time together when I was in Cleveland away for work than it is when I got back.
I know, isn't it crazy?
Well, that's how life is. Like
That is exactly how life is.
it's been whirlwind. You got to enjoy some hockey games at least while
I
our
did.
absence. You got to go to 2 games. You're 1-1. Congratulations. Happy
I am
birthday,
101. Yeah.
Jack Eichel. At the time,
Jack
of this recording.
Eichel, when you listen to this, because I know you are, buddy, I want to wish you a happy birthday, and I hope you had a wonderful day.
He got to hang out with you at T-Mobile Arena. Where else would you want to be?
He looked up
Where
right
else?
at me at one point.
Like, that's my
And
boy.
we,
right there.
and we locked eyes. And
you're like, please beat the Ducks. For the love of God.
He didn't get a goal, unfortunately, but you can't always score every game.
That's fine. Chandler Stevenson got one. Isn't he on his line?
Yes.
And that's just
Oh, and it was assisted by Jack Eichel.
Oh, there you go. The Jack Eichel effect is supporting others. You know what I mean? These people in Buffalo, Miguel, selfish. That's what they called him. Remember that? Jack Eichel's selfish. He can't win. Look at him. He can win without scoring a goal.
Guess what?
What happened?
Jack Eichel, the supposed locker room cancer.
Mm-hmm.
You see all these videos? He looks so happy. He's joking around in the Phil Kessel's Iron Man video when in the locker room. He's blocking shots. He's going back to defend. He's getting in the scuffle when they got way too close to Logan Thompson today.
Back away.
Yeah, locker room cancer, though. You know what I mean?
Those Ducks, goons. Anaheim Ducks, a bunch of goons.
Oh, dude. I mean, we're 9 games into the season. The Golden Knights are. And we've played the Sharks. We've played LA. 2 of which tend to be very chippy.
Yeah.
This is by far the most chippy game Vegas has had. Like, Anaheim are very aggressive for no reason. Like, and Zegras especially kept on. So he came out on a breakaway to Logan Thompson in the first, I want to say. Logan Thompson stops him. Gloves, boom. Flashes the glove, catches the puck. No, not today, Zegras. Zegras smacks Logan's pads with the stick. And then for the rest of the night, they've just been chirping, getting in each other's face. Every time Logan made a save, Zegras would skate by and say something. Logan would follow him. And then at the end, in the power play, Zegras takes a shot from the side. Freaking Logan makes an amazing catch slaves. And you know what Logan does? Stands up, looks Zegras directly in the eyes, and just starts laughing.
And then directly at you, that was for you, Miguel.
Exactly.
At section 214.
204.
Damn it. I didn't know where you were sitting.
I'm impressed, Eric.
Miguel, when you send me those pictures, I analyze. I'm like, all right, is he on the team shoots twice side? Which is he on the penalty box side, the bench side? You know what I mean? Because you get around. You get around
right behind. Yeah, I do get around. I sit right behind the bench up above. I'm looking over their angels.
That's my favorite spot.
Over their shoulders, like a guardian angel.
Yeah, that's my favorite spot to do. Like, give me like honestly, I like the corners for some reason. Give me like a high corner.
Yeah. So, okay. I mean, the last time we spoke was the night before game 1 of the season.
Yeah.
Not including stupid
9 games in.
Not including Nashville and San Jose.
Yeah. Miguel, before you continue, I like how yesterday you're like, all right, we're gonna record today. Both of us are finally free. We're all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, look, aren't you happy you didn't record angry after losing to Vegas? And
yeah.
I was like, sure, Miguel, sure. And then yesterday I had the most frustrating game I've ever seen in my life. So I'm actually angrier than when I was in game 1. So
yeah, it would have been better. It would have been better if we recorded yesterday before the game.
Yeah, I was coming off a high, beating Tampa.
Because
Now I'm
you
pissed
were
off.
coming off a high.
Fucking
But like for
Winnipeg.
those tuning in, this gonna be a mess of a podcast. I'm gonna just tell you right now, we're gonna be jumping all over
There's
the
a lot
place,
of catching up to do.
and we're gonna talk mainly about Golden Knights and Kings, the good and the bad. So let's take it back to the beginning. Game 1. I would like to play something for you, Eric.
All right, fine. Didn't have time to actually load it up, eh? You had to play it off your phone.
Your prediction for tomorrow night. 6-2 Kings. 6-2 Kings. You think the Kings are younger? Are an idiot. You're younger?
We are younger.
You're an idiot. The Kings are younger and faster.
We are.
I see the Vegas Golden Knights, and I just see the Los Angeles Kings from 4 years ago. You guys are old and slow. You guys are trying to hold on to some glory from the past. How are we old? How are we old?
Anyway. It goes on for way too long. But either way, Eric, 6-2 Kings over Golden Knights, your prediction. You said Vegas was going to be bad, and it is early, but
a little bit off. I was a little bit off.
That didn't come to pass. The game ended at 4-3?
Couldn't tell you. All I know 5-4. Is 26 seconds, Mark Stone, Sean Durzi turnover. That's all I remember, all right?
Yeah, so we won't... I'll save you... We won't go too deep into it. A highly competitive game on both sides, in my opinion. Very sloppy, but it is game 1, so you kind of expect that. Sean Durzi decides to hold the puck behind the LA Kings.
Yeah, I know. I was there, Miguel. We don't have to go over it. You literally said we don't have to go over it, and you're going over it. All right?
we don't have to go over the whole game.
Look,
either way, he passes it, and Mark Stone for Tangelo intercepts it. And the Golden Knights win in regulation.
Look, you can go back to, I think it was episode 5 of this podcast, early last season. Kings start 1-5-1, right? Not great. Yeah. They're better now, technically. I think they're 4-5. Whatever. Doesn't matter. This fucking team is goddamn so inconsistent. I fucking hate it. They've forgotten how to play deep. They can score. I think they've scored they're in the top 5 of goals for. But also, guess what, Miguel? I think they're in the bottom 3 of goals against.
So at the moment, Kings have 32 goals.
Yeah.
39 against.
Yeah.
In 9 games played. So I mean, they have a lot of goals. In the same amount of games, Golden Knights have 30 goals.
Yeah.
But they only have 16 goals against.
Miguel, offense fixed. Defense, whoa. Maybe Oli Mata was the glue that held together. Oli Mata now in Detroit. But whatever. This team's young. It's weird. There's expectations now. Remember, Miguel?
Again, I know.
The thing I do want to talk about, though, in a grand scheme of things, that isn't us as self-centered as both of us. Vegas, Miguel, tip of the cap to you. Great start, 7-2. Good job. A lot of wins for you. Only losses to Calgary and God, who else? Somebody.
Colorado.
2 good teams.
Both.
So no bad losses.
Both 1-goal games too. Both lost by 1 goal.
No bad losses or whatever. But it all comes down to expectations. All right. Happiness is measured expectations. I said it on the second episode that we had with Jesse Cohen from All the King's Men. Shout out to you, Jesse. It's all about expectations. And if the Golden Knights started off 4, like the Kings, 4-5, it'd be like the Leafs, panic, because you expect a lot more from them. The Golden Knights are doing exactly what they should be. They're a good team. They are one of the favorites in the Pacific.
So this is what I'll say about Golden Knights. I am very happy, over the moon. It is early in the season, and they are beating up on the teams they're supposed to beat up.
Yeah.
But that's how you make the playoffs. By beating the teams you're supposed to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of the issue right now with the Toronto Maple Leafs. They lost to the Coyotes. They've lost to Montreal.
They lost to the San Jose Sharks.
They lost to the San Jose Sharks. Those are teams that if you're a Leafs fan, easy W. Mark it on the calendar. You know what I mean? And it's the thing that's frustrating about the Kings is, all right, you lose to Vegas. They're a good team. Whatever. Shit happens. It's game 1 of 82. They go on, do nothing against Seattle. That's a team you're like, all right, we should at least, if not beat, at least be right there with them.
True. I will say this about Seattle. They're much better than I thought they were going to be this season.
Oh, they're 500. They're fine.
And they are the problem with Seattle. Defense does not exist in Seattle.
No, but
they don't know what defense is in Seattle.
Tell me if right now they're currently fourth in the Pacific with 8 points. They're 3-4-2. That is a tremendous start if you're the Seattle Kraken. Awful if you're a team with expectations.
Also, 30 goals in 9 games, 33 against though.
Yeah, they've been surprisingly fine. Like it's the same issues. I don't think any of their signings in the free agency they're fixed. Like everything's good. Like your hope, their better goaltenders out of Grubauer and Jones is Martin Jones, and that's kind of insane to say because again, Grubauer was nominated for the Vezina 2 years ago, and maybe that says more about Colorado and how good they.
Did Martin Jones start against the LA Kings?
He did. Martin Jones has a tremendous record against the LA Kings he's like since we traded him.
Kryptonite, right?
He is. He is. Yeah. Everyone was joking before the second game against Seattle. They're like, "Well, get ready for another Martin Jones classic," and he had 1 goal again.
Where Vegas is Martin Jones' kryptonite because he's been pulled like 9 out of 20 starts against Vegas, which is kind of absurd. Like that's a lot of times being pulled.
Yeah, it's not good. But I say all that to like, if we look at the standings, there's a lot of teams who are like, oh man, that's not good. Like we said, for Seattle, 8 points in the first 9 games, great, tremendous. If you're a team like Minnesota, 7 points in the first 7 games that they've had, not good. Because again, you're trying to bounce back off losing guys like Kevin Fiala. Your cap held a little bit because you're paying $15 million for Parise and Suter for another 2 years. And you have expectations with Marc-Andre Fleury there. Fleury's terrible. It's all about perspective. It's all about perspective.
I will say this. It's early in the season. Anything can happen. But boy, if I was a fan of the Canucks or the Ducks, I would have already lost hope for the season.
The Ducks are exactly where they should be. Like, I know we all kid ourselves because of like, I hate doing this. I'll make this about myself. I know we're all expecting like, oh, who's the next LA Kings? You know what I mean? Is there another team with a lot of young pieces with some veteran mixed in? Because they did sign Strome and Vetrano to kind of bolster up that second line. And you're like, is there another team that can replicate what the Kings did and kind of develop and take a next step forward? Look at the Ducks. They kind of have it, except that defense isn't that great. Their forwards are still young, and what's their biggest problem with young forwards is consistency. And John Gibson isn't John Gibson from 3 years ago. Hello, my cat. But it's a lot of.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
John Gibson, best in the universe, is no more. Today, he got pulled against the Golden Knights. In his final, I want to say 5 shots, he let in 3 goals. Like his last 3 of 5 were goals, and he got pulled after that. So I'm like, that's not good. That is not good.
Yeah, and it's a thing again. Like, God, we had our friend Antonio, who's a Canucks fan, ask us, "What do you do? How do you fix this? Do you go ahead and go all in on a rebuild? And if you do, what do you trade away? Because they're all young already.
I know.
The only things you have to trade away are JT Miller and what? Not Elias, Bo Horvat.
Like, how do you need a rebuild in the middle of a rebuild?
Well, it's because you don't build correctly. You have guys like Tyler Myers and Oliver Ekman-Larsson eating up $15 million of your cap. You sign guys like Tucker Pullman and have guys like Jack Rathbone play when Quinn Hughes can't. So what would you do? What would you do? Do you say, or how long do you also wait? That's another big thing. Like, I know they just got their first win against Seattle yesterday.
I mean,
they have to play Pittsburgh now.
Let's talk about the good in Vancouver.
There isn't any.
They got I'm in pieces.
All right,
players.
Fair.
They got a great goalie. Like, Dachudenko is legit. He's the real deal. He is definitely a top end goalie, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know. How old is Dachudenko? He's not that old, right? I can't imagine.
I believe he's like 25, maybe 26 at this point.
He is 26.
Yeah.
So he still has a decent amount of years left.
Their goalies are young. They have Quinn Hughes, who's young. Pedersen's young.
Hughes, great. Pedersen is great. And at that point, I think you keep those pieces. You try to build around those pieces. But I think you need to do a partial rebuild. I don't think you need a full-blown tear it all down rebuild. But I think you have to do a partial. We're gonna suck for another 2-3 years. Bit rebuild.
Yeah, but look
Get through some of these bad contracts. Develop some young players, and then hopefully then you can sign 1 or 2 good free agents.
Miguel, I want you to pull up. I want you to pull up Cap Friendly right now.
I'm pulling it up.
Go to Vancouver and look how many more years Oliver Ekman-Larsson is signed for. Look how many years Tyler Myers is still signed up for. And this isn't like NHL, the video game, where you can just trade away these bad contracts. Nobody's going to want these at that price. And you're just going to end up eating. I don't think you can eat 50% in a trade for salary retention and have anyone take them, unless maybe Arizona's interested. And again, eating more garbage.
I mean, you got Myers for 2 more years, this year and next year.
That's 6.
That's 6. That's what I'm saying. You do a partial rebuild. You're bad for 2 to 3 more years, and you can trade away. Like, I'm trying to think. You can probably trade someone like a Besser, and I know Besser's young, but
no,
I think
you gotta. He's one of the ones you can get rid of.
I think you can get rid of Besser and get a decent return from him.
Like, that gets you a first from a contender.
Right? Like, it has to, right? It gets you a first. So you deal out Besser for a first.
What are you thinking? Like a first and like a prospect, or a second and a really good prospect?
I think a first and an okay prospect and maybe a second.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know. It's always, I feel like every time we make these predictions, it's always a lot less than we think. So it's probably gonna be like
right?
A second, a fourth, and a B-level prospect.
But you get that. You tank for Bedard, and hopefully you can get Bedard, or if not, it's supposed to be another deep draft, right?
Yeah, you have guys like Michkov, but Michkov is probably not going to play in the NHL for a while like Kaprizov did. But there's a lot of talent in this draft that's upcoming. That's why a lot of teams are going to be hesitant to trade a first this year. I look at that roster, man, and I'm like, I don't know what I would do if I was them. I think you keep Demko, Hughes, Pedersen, everything else you...
In 2 years... Someone
wows you, go.
Tanner Pearson, gone. In 2 years, Tyler Myers is gone. They fucked up with OEL. As good as OEL is, like...
As good as OEL was.
True.
He was already on the decline when Jim Benning traded for him.
They got him until 2027 at 7.2.
Oh,
that's rough.
Man.
That is rough. But you got Danko until 26 at 5. That's really good contract. You got JT Miller until 29 or 28. No, 29.
And Miguel, remember, Vancouver was one of the teams that, or they were the only team that, for the first time ever, had exactly the perfect cap hit. They were exactly at 82 and a half.
I
have no wiggle room either.
I say you do a 3-year rebuild. You go 2 bad years. You trade what you can, get what you can. Keep Pedersen. Keep Quinn Hughes. Keep Thatcher Denko. In 3 years, Denko is 29. Hughes is 26. Pedersen is 26. They're still in very good ages. And if you're able to get someone like Bedard in that range, you're able to get another good high pick the year after that. And you're able to develop some of this younger talent. I'm not saying you're a cup contender, but then you're a playoff team. You can be a playoff team. And then at the end of the day, as long as you can get in, anything can happen. You know what I mean? I know.
Man. We need to come up with a new phrase that isn't rebuild when you've never built anything at all.
I know.
Miguel, they haven't made the playoffs. Like okay, look, they made it to the second round, lost to Vegas in the bubble. They haven't made a real 82 game playoffs since
And
2013.
honestly, the only reason that series went to 7 was Stachydemko.
Yeah.
The only reason that series went to 7
But man,
was
Miguel,
Stachydemko.
they haven't made a real playoff since 2013.
Oh, I know.
It's at your pace, Miguel. They're missing the playoffs for again. I know they made the playoffs in 2020. Real playoffs, 82 game season, normal times for 13 straight years at that point. That is Buffalo levels of bad that I think have gone unnoticed because of how bad Buffalo's been.
Either way, I only got one thing left to say about these depressing Vancouver Canucks. That's Bruce. There it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's because of Bruce Cassidy.
At least he had that Vancouver for a good 2 months. You know what I mean? Bruce,
remember when we thought they were going to make the playoffs? They're like, oh, here comes Vancouver.
They were on a good run last season. They were.
No.
Like Vegas, they just fucking crumbled at the end. You know what I mean?
We were tricked. I wasn't. I wasn't tricked because I wouldn't have picked. I've never had Vancouver as a playoff team the entire time.
I didn't either. But last year, ending the season, it did feel like they were going to sneak in.
Yeah, but I'm saying heading into this one, it's like.
Oh no, I didn't think they were playoffs. I don't remember what our predictions were, but I'm pretty sure I did not predict them being in playoff team this year.
One, we didn't make any this year. Thank God.
Oh, we didn't. Okay.
Terrible. But in conversations with our friends and stuff like that, people are like, "Oh, Vancouver, watch out for them. They ended the year hot." But every year, a bad team ends the year hot. When it doesn't matter anymore.
And then every year, bad teams get off to hard starts,
and then cool off,
and then they crumble, like Buffalo almost every year.
82 games is a long way to go.
Yeah, and that's why, like I said, for as happy as I am where the Golden Knights are right now, it means nothing.
I'm about to say, how does it feel to have the same amount of losses as the Philadelphia Flyers? Because that's what's happened right now.
Speaking of bad teams that get out to hot starts, who will eventually come down to earth. Yes, the Philadelphia Flyers are 5-2.
Yes, that is first in the fucking Metro.
I haven't seen. I've been watching a lot of hockey, a shit ton of hockey. I've not seen a single Flyers game though, so I couldn't say if this is for real or not. You know what I mean?
my only sample is them beating Vancouver during Vancouver's terrible start, where they kept blowing multiple goal leads.
Hey,
so
another thing that Vancouver fans can hang their cap on.
Mm-hmm.
They made history this year already, Eric.
The 4 straight losses, all blown multiple goal leads.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Craig, congratulations, Vancouver. You've made history already this season.
I'm fully convinced because I watched that first game against Edmonton when they're up 3-0 against the Oilers. You're like, oh, here comes Vancouver. And then they blew it. I think they let 5 straight goals in against Edmonton and lost the game. If they hold on to win that game, Miguel, I wonder if that changes anything.
Man,
because
also Oilers, man, they're like the comeback kids this season.
They are, but congratulations, you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
No, it's just not fair. You know what I mean?
Especially for me, who ended up. How did I luck into winning the number 1 overall pick in the fantasy league we're in? Twice. I get to have McDavid twice, 2 years in a row from doing nothing. Pure dumb luck.
You're the worst. But
am I a good fantasy league manager, Miguel, or do I just have Connor McDavid?
You just had Connor McDavid.
We'll never know. But
you just had Connor McDavid.
No, it's early though, Miguel. I think that's the thing we're learning from. You know what I mean? It's early. You want to overreact, and I do. I genuinely do want to overreact. I'm tired of the Kings playing with my emotions. It's been up and down, and I think that's every fucking fan. Yeah,
let's talk about the Kings.
Sure.
They've been on a very bumpy start.
Mm-hmm.
They are 4-5, which you said is better than last year, right? They were 2.
Yeah, at this point last year, 1-5-1 to start the year.
1-5-1. So.
Yeah, 3 points in the first 7 games.
And for the most part, outside of 1 or 2 games, and I've seen a lot of LA games, they've looked competitive. You know what I mean?
They're young. They can score. Like we said, they're probably in the top 3 of goals for. They can't defend for shit. Through 9 games, Miguel, do you want to guess how many games that they've played so far and where the Kings did not allow 4 goals or more?
3. 1.
One game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, Who would have guessed it? You know what I mean? Like it's fucking dumb. Like I don't know. I don't want to overreact because they're playing well. But when you go from losing to Vegas the way we did to not showing up against Seattle to then winning 3 straight, getting blown out against Pittsburgh on the road, blowing a third period 2-goal lead against Washington, coming back home, beating Tampa Bay, and then somehow against the Winnipeg Jets, they played the best period of their lives. And they've also played the worst they've ever have in that game. And I have no idea how they did it. In a period where they dominated the Jets in possessions, I believe they ended up the first with like 5 shots. Kings had like 16 or 17 to end the first. It was a 3-2 game. They gave up a breakaway, and they gave up a breakaway while they were up a person on the power play. All that domination to go up 3-2, and it was like, you're just asking to get beat at that point. It's consistency, and maybe it's having too many right-handed defensemen right now because they have like 5 of them on the roster right now, and they're all playing. But
what do you do? What do you do to fix that? At least that aspect of it.
I don't know.
You
People are all fucking
trade
reacting.
for left-handers or what?
I think eventually.
Do you have any left-handed in the AHL?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're not ready because they're in the AHL.
I mean, Toby Bjornfoot's and it's killing it in Ontario, and that's good. We called up Jacob Moravara because Alex Iafallo is on IR. That's another thing, by the way. IR has been kind of a trending theme since last year. Victor Arvidsson's been in and out of the lineup. Alex Iafallo's week to week with an injury. Quinn Byfield got late scratched yesterday because of illness, not COVID. So you're trying to before a game against Detroit, Alex Edler took a puck to the face, and then we didn't see him for 2 games. So like it's been a lot of different combinations. There hasn't been that stability we have. And now heading into this game against Toronto for game 10, Kevin Fiala's on a third line somehow. Oh, and Gabe Vilardi might be the greatest player we have. Which
I was about to say, on the plus
shocking.
side, Gabe Vilardi playing well.
Shocking. I believe he has most 5-on-5 goals in the league, and he's been the top 5 of goal scorers. So that's obviously a bright spot. They're young. It's inconsistent. This is just more frustrating because you see the talent this time, and they're not having to play as defensive, but that's biting them in the ass right now. But who knows? Miguel will probably be in this whole hunt for the playoffs against each other again, which is exciting. And I don't know if I made this prediction, but I do predict 5 teams from the Pacific are going to make it and 3 from the Central are going to make it. And if we're looking at the Central, Miguel, holy shit. The Dallas Stars are in first, and Chicago. Somehow the Chicago Blackhawks are currently 3rd place with 8 points.
I know.
So
I mean, that's good for Chicago because, one,
they sold everybody.
They're not going to make the playoffs. But you can sell high at the deadline. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But we had a discussion in the offseason. It's going to be fascinating to see where Kane and Taves end up. But if they're somehow good, I don't know what moves you make. If they somehow end up holding on. Like, that's the problem if you're like
if I'm Blackhawks, if you're anything less than in the solidifying your top 2, you trade everything away. If you're a borderline playoff team, you don't. I wouldn't go in if I was Chicago. I'd sell anyways.
Yeah,
you'd piss off the fan base, I'm sure, but like,
you got to do the smart thing. You got to do the smart thing that New York did. Also, can you hear my cat? This son of a bitch.
He literally just stared into the camera and meowed.
God damn it, this bastard. There he is. Look at him.
He literally, me and him locked eyes. I looked right at him.
He not a fan of the New York Rangers apparently. But
Stars is off to a good start.
They are. But I was saying,
well.
like, if you're a bad team, you're off to a good start. You need to do the thing New York did and be like, look, guys, I know we might make the playoffs, but it's not going to help us in the long run.
What is going on with Minnesota? You know what I mean?
Miguel, you're going to enjoy this. Bad goaltending.
Very bad goaltending.
Oof, stinky 800 goaltending.
Mark Andre Fleury.
Yeah, your old buddy. Do you miss him sometimes?
No.
Wow.
Can't make a save.
I mean, he made a killer save last game, but let's look. Currently, he has a 388 goals against average with an 8.79. Philip Gustafsson, though, the backup, 506 goals allowed average, 8,600 save percentage.
Can you look up the Golden Knights goaltenders stats?
Dude, they're like, look, I'll pat you on the back again. They're fucking amazing because I'm pretty sure the lowest one is like 93.
Aiden Hill, 3-0 in his 3 starts, and Logan Thompson, 2 losses, 2 tough losses, very close games, and then all wins. 2. Logan Thompson, first goalie with a shutout this season, and now he's the first and only goalie with 2 shutouts this season.
Yeah, 943 for old Logan Thompson, 169 goals against average. Aiden Hill, what a bum! Pick up the slack, 935, 2 goals against average.
And this
so honestly, I think that's you can say whatever start Vegas is off to, but you can 100% look at the goaltender and be like, this is why we're good.
So I'm going to get into this a little bit. It was a bit of a discussion. It's been a bit of a discussion amongst Golden Knights fans. Is goaltending great, good, above average, or is it B, the Bruce Cassidy system? It's been a bit of a discussion amongst Golden Knights fans on different podcasts, on Reddit, on Twitter, and I'm here to give my opinion.
Look, Miguel, hold on. Before you give your opinion, let's be honest here. You're easily the smartest Golden Knights fan here. If anything,
thank you.
Your opinion should be the only one that matters. So take it away, please. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just had to get that in.
It is secret option number C.
See, not a number, by the way.
That's how secret of an option this is. This is how I'm so smart. These people
actually C might be a Roman numeral. I'm not sure.
I'm sure it is like 1,000 or something. Either way, it is secret option C.
Yep, number C.
It's both. It is good goaltending, not a great, not amazing, not spectacular, not standing on your head stealing games. But it's goaltending that is the Bruce Cassidy system does not allow for goal up close shots that much. Doesn't allow for too much breakaways. Because boy, did last year Vegas fans had to endure breakaway after breakaway after breakaway, and having to see Leonard suffer. And that's part of the reason, outside of the whole Fleury thing, that's part of the reason why the Vegas fan base turned on the Leonard, was because we had a rough season because the defense was bad, and he had to face so many breakaways. Him and I don't even remember who the backup was last year before Logan came into being the backup.
Laurent Brossoit.
Thank you. They faced so many breakaways last season. It was stupid. This year, I think Vegas in 9 games have probably faced 1, maybe 2 breakaways, which is very little. Like for 9, even though 9 games isn't a lot, that's very little. I feel like in most games you see at least 1 or 2 breakaways a game. So it's essentially Logan and Aiden are only facing shots from the outside. Like 90% of the shots they face are from the outside. And if you're a goaltender, a decent goaltender that is doing your job, you should eat up almost all the shots from the outside. Am I wrong? Like that's your job as a goaltender. Like the ones you can see coming.
Don't give up bad goals.
You should be like, through 9 games, I can 100% in confidence say Logan Aiden have not given up a single soft goal. I'm not saying all 16 goals scored against were like, oh my god, unstoppables, but none of the 16 goals have been soft, in my opinion. Not a single one.
Yeah, I'm looking up numbers right now, Miguel. If you want a vamp, I try to figure this out.
I'm trying
to see exactly how many high danger chances they both have faced.
I think I know today alone, Logan only faced 5, while Gibson faced 11. I think it was on today's game. Either way, like I said, it's good goaltending. It's not standing on your head stealing game goaltending, but you don't necessarily need that if you have a good system, which is Bruce Cassidy has installed a good defensive system. And this was the argument with Boston. Like, was it Bruce Cassidy's system or was it the goaltending? And clearly it was both, because Boston Bruins are still as dominant as they've ever been. You know what I mean?
So if you would like some numbers to back up your claims, so far this season, Logan Thompson has seen 36 high danger shots, 28 high danger saves, 8 high danger goals against. So he's 8.33 when he has to face high danger shots, which is he's seen 50th. So he's ranked 50th.
He's not great.
No, and then Aiden Hill has seen even less than that in his fewer games, of course. He's in 15, saved 12, 3 high danger goals against, 800 high danger save percentage. So yeah, you're protecting them, and that's good because that's
what you want. That's what you need.
That's what you need to do. And in the game, because I also good friend Miguel, I watch your team as well. The game against Toronto, you could basically see that because Samsonov stood on his fucking head.
Absolutely.
And
he almost stole that game.
It was, yeah.
He almost stole that game.
I mean, Vegas had to work for every goal.
Yeah.
And it's just
another positive for Golden Knights fans out there that can rejoice, where last year Vegas struggled to fucking win games. They were winning games like 3-2, 2-1. And the goals weren't coming. You know what I mean? The goals are never coming. And that was the biggest problem because, like, how many times did we sit here and talk about afterwards, like, once the season was over, like, Logan Thompson went to fucking God knows how many shootouts because the games ended 1-1, 2-2 because Golden Knights couldn't score. And this year, through 9 games, they have 30 goals. They've had multiple 3-4 goal games. Like, it's great. It's fun. It's wonderful.
And look, I hate doing this because it's a team sport and stuff like that, but I always told you my biggest problem with Robin Lehner versus Marc-Andre Fleury was what, Miguel? It's that the team played for Marc-Andre Fleury, not the same way they played for Robin Lehner. Like, they hung out Lehner to dry way too many times, and
I agree. Which made him look like a worse goalie than he was.
And they hung out Fleury to dry, but that's kind of where Fleury lives in chaos.
I mean, we've talked about this before. The Boer system is not goalie friendly. That's why Fleury thrived in that system, the little time he spent in that system.
Yeah.
Because Fleury is exciting. He moves around a lot. He makes these crazy saves. He dives. He extends his legs out. He does the splits like crazy. Where Leonard doesn't do that. Leonard is a big body goalie. Your Vasilevsky, your Ben Bishop, as long as these motherfuckers around me play correctly, I will make the save because nothing's getting through this big body.
Yeah, as long as he can stay in position.
I am correctly positioned at all times. And as long as these guys don't get in close and don't whack at my pads, don't do cross crease passes in front of me, I will block most shots. That's Leonard's game. Unfortunately, the Boer system didn't play to that. Where it's unfortunate that Leonard's injured because right now he would look like a fucking rock star under the Boer system, facing the shots that Aiden Hill and Logan has faced. He would look like a rock star, and he would probably have 2, maybe 3 shutouts. And I don't think I'm exaggerating because, I mean, you see, Vegas hasn't faced that many high danger shots.
Yeah, not yet. They haven't played against anybody who's like had.
And that's the thing.
A lot of opportunities in the slot.
Like they've only, and even then, that's what I'm saying. Like Colorado is probably had the most high danger chance against Vegas, and that was mainly in the first period. Like it felt like they were going to score 20 goals in the first period, and then Vegas settled that game down and looked much better. They just couldn't. They couldn't score, unfortunately, and Vegas got killed in the power play.
By the way, now that I just looked it up, Ilya Samsonov currently 110 saves high danger, which is
ooh,
kind of a lot, but
that's more than Logan and Aiden combined.
But 907, like
exactly, like
dude, Samsonov low key nice, and I think you kind of see it. Like I like if I want to compare the two in that game, so far Vegas, you know, like when I was talking about the Kings, like it feels like they're just disconjointed.
Mm-hmm.
The offense isn't playing as good as the defense is, or if the defense is playing bad, it's not as good as the offense.
Yeah.
Like you're having these fluctuations. You're not getting a save when you need it. Cal Peterson, for whatever reason, just doesn't have the confidence in him right now. Jonathan Quick, as hard as he works, isn't getting the right saves on it. And it's a lot of unlucky bounces, sure, but that's hockey and that happens. But at the same time, you need your defense around there. Like, if Quick is going to make a big save, all right, cool. You need someone to clear the goddamn puck. Or prevent that situation from ever happening. So far, Vegas has been on the same page. I don't think there's been a game so far, and maybe the start against LA might be the best example, but that's game one, and you're feeling each other out. So
Yeah.
like game one was probably the most Vegas looked like last year. Like it was slower.
I agree.
It was a kind of a lot of feeling out and stuff until a team made a mistake, and LA made a mistake, and Mark Stone is good enough to make you pay like that. They've been on the correct page in terms of the defense has been good. I don't want to say spectacular, but it's been good. Goaltending's been good, and the offense is great. You got a recipe for a good team.
For once in the last 3-4 years, I'll say this, and no one can say otherwise. The front office actually made a good decision in the Golden Knights by firing Pete DeBoer that I was against. I was wrong,
and I told you it was the right move. So I will also accept.
You did say. Don't get me wrong. I was excited to have Bruce Cassidy, but at the moment before Bruce Cassidy came into Vegas, I did say while Bruce Cassidy is a good coach, Vegas messed up by firing DeBoer. I was clearly wrong, and the front office for once in their fucking life made a good decision. Fired Pete DeBoer, did not fit the system, didn't fit the players in which Vegas has. Because Vegas has a lot of the defensive forwards, like a lot. And the Pete DeBoer system, the Bruce Cassidy system plays head because Bruce Cassidy is all about defense first, like defend and the goals will come.
And again, I'm looking at the points total too, and it kind of more or less emphasizes how evenly balanced everything's been. Marchessault 8 points, Stevenson 8 points, Eichel 8 points, Carlson 7, Smith 7, Stone 6. Theodore 6, Pietrangelo 6, and then everyone's basically in your starting lineup, top 9, top 4 pairing defensemen. They're all within there. And
not the case last year. Last year was pretty much if Marchessault, Pacioretty didn't score, nobody was scoring last year. You know what I mean? Absolutely nobody.
And like looking at the shooting splits, like Carlson's not going to shoot 28% all year. It is way too high. Chandler Stevenson isn't going to shoot 23%. But everyone else is right in what averages are usually for shooting. Like Eichel's shooting 10%, so is Stone.
And like I said, last year, that was the biggest problem. The first line was the only line that could score goals. And that's why we lost so many fucking games. Because second, third, fourth line could not score a goal to save their lives. And this year, it's going all around, which is great. And as long as the Vegas can keep that up, they will easily be in the playoffs. And now, again, I know it's early, and because even last year, Vegas, I forgot what their starting record was, but they were like 27-12 last year to start. It wasn't bad.
It was good.
They were good. So it's still early to say, but they never felt this good, even when they were winning last year, if that makes sense. Like it never felt like, oh, okay, this Vegas team is dangerous. Like it never felt that way last year at any point in the year, in my opinion.
Do you feel like they have a statement win yet?
No, I don't think so. There hasn't been.
Toronto's like whatever. Like I know they're good, but like, they've been kind of.
And that's the thing. They have to be a top team. And again, no offense to Toronto, they are a top team, but they're not playing like a top team. And they didn't play like a top team against Vegas. Whether that was Vegas being good or Toronto being bad, it doesn't matter. It wasn't like a intense, this team, they're fucking like, if they would have beaten Colorado or they would have beaten Calgary, which were intense games and they lost by 1 goal, either one would have been a statement goal because they were high intense games, back and forth. Clearly Calgary and Colorado are the real deal. They've shown it already. Like that's the difference where
By the way, Calgary's been as good as they are currently. Their top line, the Lindholm line, still does not have a 5-on-5 goal yet. And they're off to the start that they are.
Like, it's crazy for me to say this, but it's just I've been hurt before. So despite Vegas having a better record, a much better record than Colorado, I don't think they're a better team than Colorado.
Again, we talked about this with Tampa and Colorado and other teams. Like, for some teams, the regular season matters a lot less, and it's about just make it to the playoffs.
Yeah,
you'll figure it out then, and you'll get there. For other teams, like, I feel like Carolina is a team that hasn't done anything in the playoffs, so it still matters to them to get good positioning. Like, I don't know if Colorado has anything to play with in terms of home ice. I don't think Calgary might want to get back to winning the Pacific again like they did last year.
I'll say this.
Like we said earlier, Miguel, though, it depends on your perspective and what your expectations are.
I'll say this too, because I don't want to keep. I would love to talk about Golden Knights all day, but I'll end my portion, and then we can get, if you want, a little more into Keens. Probably not, if you don't. But I'll end this. I don't necessarily need a statement win, but the Golden Knights have a 5-game East Coast trip, 5 games in 9 days, where nothing too crazy, but as long as they walk away from that 5-game trip with 3 wins, at least minimum 6 points, because they're playing Capitals, Senators, Canadians, Leafs, Buffalo. Again, Capitals, they're Capitals. They're a good team. But Vegas does pretty well against them in regular season.
What happened to the other side, Miguel?
We're talking about the regular season. We're in the regular season.
Yeah, I'm a little lost. What happened not in the regular season?
It doesn't matter.
In
the preseason, I'm not sure what the record is.
No, the other one, the one after the regular season. What do they call that one?
Next season, preseason.
No, the regular season 2.
They are 1-4.
Oof.
Senators, good team, not great, but they're up there.
They're 4-3. Like, that's fine.
Canadians playing above what anyone thought.
They're 4-4, also fine.
And I've said this about Montreal. I said it last year or 2 years ago before the postseason. Montreal, for some reason, since day one, has always had Vegas's number. So it doesn't matter if they're much worse. Like, that's still a team that they should be.
Is that another team that has not regular season success against them?
No, that's Canadians has regular and postseason success.
Oh, wow. Vegas. 2 of them.
Yeah, so, and then we got Toronto, which Vegas, Bell Center, Toronto is the only place Vegas does not have a victory.
By the way, you need to get the name right. You're going to get yelled at by these Canadians.
What is it? Ball Center? No, that's
Colorado.
Yeah.
It's Scotiabank Arena.
Bell Center is Montreal,
Bell Center is Montreal. You're gonna get us some hate comments on this one.
Scotiabank, it's the only arena Vegas has never won in. So it's one of those situations where, despite Toronto not being well right now, it's an arena they've never won in. And then Buffalo, who is okay. They're okay right now. They're not great. They're not bad. But Buffalo, it's fun. It's so funny. Buffalo, it's a game of 2 revenges. Where
I will say though, the last time you guys played at Buffalo
Buffalo
basically did. Yeah, Buffalo won, and your season was never the same since.
I mean,
maybe this is it. This is the time to right the ship, Miguel.
It was the only time the Buffalo crowd ever got loud. In all the years Jack Eichel was there, you know what I mean?
Jack Eichel should have played better than that's really a self-burn. We talked about this. He should have worded it better.
So while they're technically not playing all playoff teams, they're not playing any bad teams, in my opinion. So they have to come out of this road trip with 3 wins. They have to come out. And that don't mean fucking 6 points in a sense where like 2 wins and 2 overtime losses. No, I need 3 wins out of this road trip. And if they get 3 wins and they look good, then I'm a believer. I'm not down on the team. I'm actually very happy, but I'm also I'm realistic. I'm not over the moon. I'm not like, the real Golden Knights are back. No, I'm not there yet. But I will say this, and I said this before going into the season, where there's something feels different about this season. It's not just the whole everyone doubting them, everyone hating them. I said this when we talked with you and Ken Bulkey. Something feels like they have that fire under their ass, and maybe that's the cause of missing the playoffs. But for this team, it feels special. And when you see these videos of the Golden Knights, maybe it's because of Robin Leonard, maybe it's not. Maybe it's because of DeBoer, maybe because it's not. They seem like they're having fun again, which you haven't seen those Golden Knights in at least 3 years.
I will rain on your parade a little bit, because what did we talk about right now? It's early. What? It's early.
It is early. It is, and that's why I said I'm not over the moon. I'm not here. I didn't come out here to brag and make fun.
No, it's fine. I look, we're having look, Miguel, we're having a nice discussion on expectations and starts. This is a good start.
They started 27-12, and look how they ended.
Yes,
it doesn't mean that 9-2 means nothing.
No, it means
7-2 means nothing.
But like what I'm saying is, like, we've talked about like expectation and stuff like that. Minnesota having expectations, not meeting them. Philadelphia, Dallas exceeding all expectations, leading their divisions right now. But we know with Vegas, all of this doesn't matter if it doesn't. And like ownership, and your ownership is right there, Miguel. Extremely vocal. All of this doesn't matter until they win the cup.
Yeah.
And it's can they keep this momentum throughout 82 games and then into the playoffs?
I know I said this was gonna be the last thing, but
liar.
To make fun of the Golden Knights, I'm gonna make fun of the Golden Knights. In a local interview with Bill Foley, the owner of the Golden Knights, when they asked him, "How do you feel going into this season?" Because before the first season started, the one thing he's always said:
first 5 years.
Playoffs in 3,
cup in 6. Cup in 6. Oh,
he always said cup in. He has said it since year 1. Cup in 6. And so they asked him going into the season, "How are you, Bill Foley? How are you feeling?" And I quote, "I believe we are putting the best team we've ever had on the ice this season." What a crock of shit. I love the Golden Knights, and I love the team we have. This is not the best team we've ever put on the ice. Season 2 to this day is the best team we've ever put on ice, in my opinion.
Well, Miguel, like that's I'm gonna have to disagree. The best team that you put on the ice ever is a team that made it the first. I don't care. I understand individually, collective, sure. More talent on tier 2. The best team you put on the ice is year 1 because they made it the furthest. Do you know? Right. It's also, you know how hard it is to catch magic. Like, it's so fucking hard. And that's usually what you need heading into the playoffs. And right now, if Vegas plays like this in the playoffs, they're going to be a threat regardless of who they're matched out with in round 1. But like we said it before, we said it right now with all these teams. It's early. We have no idea how anything's going to shake up yet.
I will say this. Way too early prediction. But if the Bruce Cassidy system holds up with these goaltenders, Logan Thompson, Calder.
That is bold.
It's way too early. And I don't even know how often goalies win Calder. Probably never.
Not often. Not often. It always goes to forwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean,
well, I guess he does. You know what? I'm actually wrong about that already because Mo Sider won the Calder last year, so I should shut the hell up. But I don't know, man. Matty Bernard is pretty good.
Oh, again, way too early prediction. But and the one good thing, aside from like I said, the energy of the Golden Knights feeling like they're having fun for the first time in 3 years, Logan Thompson has united the fan base that has hated the Leonard, has hated goaltending since Fleury got traded.
He's the avatar.
He is the avatar. Everybody, and I mean everybody, loves Logan. Everyone loves his energy. Everyone loves, because honestly, he plays like a combination of Leonard and Fleury, where he's not huge, but he's bigger than Fleury, and he plays big. But man, does this kid make crazy saves, and he loves to trash talk. Like I said, he was trash talking Logan. I mean, Zegras all game today. It was fucking wonderful. He fucking leveled somebody. He dropped one of the Anaheim players. players to the ice. Like it was great. It was wonderful.
All right, let's leave it there. Let's just say good start, chaotic start for me.
Any last things on Kings? You want to talk about?
Fucking
I mean, you took them.
No, I'm tired. They need to fucking play defense. God damn it. They need to not give up 4 goals.
I know we're running long, but we just went so long without seeing and talking to each other, like for the podcast.
I know.
But Arizona, real quick. Arizona.
That's what I was gonna bring up. Why are you taking my transitions?
My bad. Go ahead, transition it.
God, who cares? Arizona Coyotes are currently playing their first game in their new 5,000 seat arena, Mullet Arena, Miguel, where they gave out free mullets for everyone in attendance.
Oh, it's wonderful. Shame on all the fans not wearing the mullets. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's bullshit. I was excited to see a bunch of blonde people in the goddamn stands. Nobody's wearing them. Where's the fun?
Fun, Arizona. You know what I mean?
Look.
You don't always have to be so fucking miserable. If they gave out free mullets and golden eyes, bro, you can best believe I'll be wearing that shit the whole night.
Absolutely. Give me anything, I'll fucking wear for free.
You know what I mean?
We literally had about things of how we're both basically raccoons in the bodies of humans, and we just take anything that's free and given to us.
I will say this. On TV, 5,000, in some ways, it does make it look a little minor league. It looks tiny compared to when you watch these other games. But it looks full. Something you could not say about the Arizona Coyotes before this year.
I was thinking, because again, it's easy to shit on the Coyotes right now. The visiting locker room is basically a big empty rink with pipe and drape and benches, and that's it.
That's embarrassing.
Because I was thinking
a lot of these kids grew up in Canadian hockey and they fucking shitty locker rooms. I'm sure, you know what I mean.
Yeah, we talk about how tough hockey players are. They can deal with this. It's fine.
Yeah, they
ain't bougie or anything like that. Like,
no.
I was thinking though, like if Arizona was a better team, like let's say, I don't know what's a better example, Florida or Ottawa, because they both have arenas that are in the middle of goddamn nowhere and hard to get to, and it's often empty. You know what I mean? So we'll say Florida. Like if Arizona had the type of roster, that Florida has, and they were good and like really good, I think that atmosphere would be 100% change, and I don't know if we'd be talking about it as dire as it is. But with so much consecutive bad news about the Coyotes, not paying their rent, not having a place to play, having to panic and play at a university, then
you know what's the biggest problem that hurts Arizona?
Being bad.
Aside from being bad, aside from not being, I don't know, but I've heard they're not in a great location. Even before this, like their other arena was not.
Gila River was like near nothing. Also,
I think what hurts them the most is the Suns being good. Because if you're gonna spend your money to go watch a team, it's gonna be the Phoenix Suns.
Well,
and I know they're not near each other. But I think Arizona people are not like.
I don't know how much overlap there is between like basketball and hockey and football and baseball. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just saying,
there are markets that support all four very easily. I think what hurts Arizona is bad. Like bad. And I'm not even talking about rosters.
There's 5,000 seat arena in a slightly better place to get to. I mean, you see it right now so far. One game. I mean, it's only one game, but it's fucking looks like it's damn near sold out. So
and it's against Winnipeg. So that's I don't know how Winnipeg fans travel, but I highly doubt they're flying out for this first Arizona game. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
And I don't see. I've had it in the background, and I know you have too.
Yeah.
I don't see. I hadn't seen that many. I wasn't paying that much attention, but I didn't see that many Winnipeg.
They showed a couple during the Canadian anthem, but like the building isn't taken over. Like, it's going to be interesting when they play Vegas, when they play LA.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you're going to be at the LA game, right?
December 23rd. I'm planning on it, yes.
And I'm planning on being January 13th at the Vegas game there. Because me and my brother are already making plans. Tickets are only like, they're not cheap. They're
over $100.
Yeah, they're like $200 for the Vegas one. They're like $200. Like,
but again, you're down basically $100. Well, not basically. You are.
It doesn't matter where you sit.
No, you're fine.
There's not a single bad seat in that arena. No. So, like, I'm gonna try to make the trip.
Yeah, like I'm looking at these like shots of like they pan up a little bit, like the end behind the neck cams. And it looks small, but also you're right. Like it just looks full and that makes it look better. And there
And I'm
are
sure it sounds better in there for the players.
yeah. Yeah. I just I want Arizona to succeed because it'd be cool to have it because I think everything about the Coyotes, their branding, just their place and like I mean they inspired the guy who's fucking won the Hart last year, Austin Matthews, you know what I mean?
Yep.
From their Coyotes fan, I guess growing up. Like you want them to do well. And if they can cultivate some sort of cult following where people just are kind of excited for them to just be there and not leave, then it's a win for them. And we'll see. Like again, like we talked about earlier about Vancouver, like I don't know if there's ever been a build in Arizona to kind of cultivate fans, at least not through the rosters. So maybe start cultivating a culture there with like what they're trying to do with like having a collegiate atmosphere at an NHL game with they have a drum line there, you know, like stuff like that that slowly builds up the character of the team because right now, what are they known for, Miguel? Being bad and incompetent.
Yeah.
And uninteresting, and no one cares. The most interesting about them is that they're bad.
I will say that I just looked up tickets for the Vegas game.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, had they gone up in price?
Yeah, you better buy them.
They have gone up in price. And I mean, I fully expect the Vegas fans to outweigh Arizona fans.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing I'm interested more. Like teams that travel, we'll see what that Arizona barn looks like. Because they were talking a lot about like it'll be intimate. We'll get a home ice advantage because of how close everybody is. But
I know, like LA,
I don't know.
I wouldn't necessarily say LA is a good traveling team, but they are for the surrounding area.
The Pacific Southwest.
Yeah, same thing with Golden Knights. I wouldn't say because a good traveling team is like fucking Edmonton. It's Chicago. It's Toronto, where they could be on the other side of the United States,
and they'll be there,
and you could hear them on TV.
Yeah, you heard them during that Vegas game. Go Leafs, go chants.
Exactly, like ridiculous. So that's what I'm. Those are real traveling fat teams fans that travel well. Vegas, LA, they travel well in our area. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's been like so many times where I've gone. I think I got it the most in Toronto, where like I was wearing my King stuff, like from Los Angeles. Like, yeah, the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you here? And
like,
yeah,
because in any Canes, Sharks, Anaheim, Seattle, Arizona game, you could hear the Knights chant during the national anthem. That's always a good indication of how many fans there is in there.
Also, a good indication how annoyed I am. But how about a good indication to say good night to this episode because we're already over an hour.
Yes. So if you're still listening, also shout out to Phil Kessel breaking the Iron Man streak. Yeah, we'll get more into that next week. For those listening, you can find me at Miguel Kicks all over the internet. YouTube.com, Collectors Lobby. Haven't uploaded in a while. It's gonna be even longer, but follow me anyways. Eric, where can the people find you?
You can find me at _Erick Oriana, Instagram, Twitter, _ERICKORELLANA. Miguel, send us home.
For those still listening, thank you so much for sticking with us. I really appreciate every single one of you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.
Goodbye.